Hello there once again, people. Welcome to yet another episode of Sicking Shamblers. So, this time around, we're actually going to be checking out something a bit weird. Essentially, if you remember Quake and basically its timeline, you'll know they released Q-Test, basically back in, like, I want to say February? February or March. Yep, February 24th of 1996, so I was about right, definitely. And yeah, that was basically the first release thing for Quake. Now, the final version of Quake didn't really get released until June of 1996. I think it was like June 20th, I want to say. Yeah, the retail version, the full version was July 12th, but there was, the version before that, there was, the actual 0.91 version. And didn't we have when that is? I'm looking at like the wiki, thinking it would be good just to see that, but of course I'm not actually seeing when the actual release date was. That's curious. You would have thought I actually had oh, there it is. Never mind. June 21st, 1996. So I was indeed correct. It was June that it came out. Anyway, a month or so before that. We're looking at, you're going through a lot of weird dates today. But yeah, around, say May 15th, 1996. So say nearly a month, if not a little bit more, before Quake's actual release. In fact, this is before Beta 3 was a thing. So, this is rather interesting historically. John Carmack released QuakeEd, basically the editor for Quake, which they used to make the program. Of course, it was all in Quake C, and basically it was transferred over that way because you couldn't do anything within NetStep. It was like totally worthless in NetStep, so he basically released all the Quake C code, and basically oh, that was a weird ring. But basically, he released the program and he released QuakeEd. And QuakeEd, as you've kind of seen, kind of went on to become something that was unofficially ported to Windows, but was almost totally worthless. There was the novelty of it, sure, but by the time it finally got a port over to Windows, there were a million other Quake editors, to the point that everyone else was pretty much using something else, and really it didn't catch on. So you ended up seeing Thread, Worldcraft, Quest, BSP. A lot of them were gaining popularity until like BSP ended up dying out due to people moving off DOS. Thread dying because of the lack of support, or I think that was the reason, was just general lack of support and the clunky nature of it. And Worldcraft really kind of taking central stage and being the big one. But yeah, far before all that was there, we had QuakeEd, the original Quake editor. And for QuakeEd, we had basically all the original levels, and we also had that one weird custom level I saw not too long ago. That was a weird one, because it was like the novelty of making it with the actual physical QuakeEd editor. But yeah, as a general rule, you don't see levels made with it that's not. But yeah, Hell's Keep was made using QuakeEd itself. So there was that one level. Anyway, beyond that, as said, there really wasn't much besides what was included in the original game. However, in May 15th of 1996, with the release of QuakeEd, John Carmack had to release a test map. Essentially, to show you guys what exactly how exactly map files worked, how basically everything kind of loaded up, and all that. It was a rather simplistic little test run, but at the same time, it is very historical, as possibly the fourth earliest Quake level ever made and released to the public, and not probably the fourth made. But the fourth release to the public, because you have to say the three DM levels from Q-Test. I don't believe there were any custom levels made for Q-Test. Basically, there were modified versions of levels. People would basically release the same level with some grunts or something added in. But there was never anything drastically different between the levels. This is the fourth actual custom, or fourth actual level, if you will, released for Quake. And it's, interestingly enough, made by John Carmack, a person who mostly just did the programming and didn't make much of the levels. And I should mention, like I said, it is just literally a bots. So don't expect really this to be as groundbreaking as, say, the actual level design is. He's a technical person, and it's going to show. It's literally just a small test. But at the same time, it's very historically important as being the level before, like, most of the other levels existed. And what really was the first test level you could really get. And kind of one of the first real levels for Quake you could kind of get if you compiled it all. I don't know if you could have compiled it back in when it was released, though. Because I'm not sure if QBSP and Light Abyss and all that existed. I think they must have. Those tools must have, because you got them somewhere, and I don't think it was included with Quake itself. So I'm thinking he must have released it with them, and that was where the originals were. And then people released, like, modified, better versions of that with, like, less limitations and all that. Wasn't it JOHNC99? JOHNC99. Did I put in the right slot? I think I did. Maybe it doesn't actually work. I think it should. It compiled right. It seemed like it should be able to. Let's see here. No, where is it? Where did I put it? I compiled it, but I didn't move it apparently. Well, that's interesting. Of course I wouldn't. Let's see here. Yeah, I have the BSP file right here. I'm not sure why I didn't move it over. I'm proud of myself for that one, people. Also, what's going on with this stretching? Shouldn't it be stretching better than that? How long is that been occurring? Is that just because it's windowed? Yeah, that's just because it's windowed. I was going to say, I should have noticed that happened before, and I didn't recall that. Maybe I need to reload the game. I think that's it. I think you need to, like, reload the buffering of, like, the levels that exist. Or I could have actually typed a restart. Maybe that could have done it. I think a restart works the same. JOHNC99. There we are. You wanted it? You got it. No official level name inside there. And literally a bot. Yeah. There's been test boxes before. But this is the original test box. This is the mother of all test boxes. Amazing. Doesn't this feel great? Yeah. Break! Also, if you really want to, you can play Deathmatch in this one. That way, in case you want to kill your friends in the most pointless of all test levels because of how tiny this freaking box is, you can totally do such. I know you just revelry to kill people here in this bots. You know what would be interesting, actually? I could probably pull up the Reaper bots. You know what? I'm actually intrigued. I'm going to try and see if I could do that quickly. I should be able to get, let's see here, the Reaper bots should be stored, if I can get to the file quickly enough. God, there's too many files. Let's see here, Reaper bot, there we are. So if we move this over, we should be able to put it in the stripper folder. I think it's loaded at stripper by default, but it has no mods currently in there, so now we'll have that mod. Let's see here, JOHNC99. Is that it? Is it JOHNC99? Map. That actually make more sense when the John Carmack 99. There we are, look at that. We got freaking Reaper bots. Now we need to do bind H2 impulse 208. That'll, like, I think spawn in some enemies. And yeah, I think that should do it, shouldn't it? There we are! Oh yeah, we need to get Deathmatch to 1, otherwise we're just gonna die in the first few seconds, and that'd stink. Oh, glorious! Look at that! Look at that, people! Oh my god, what have I done? What have I done? Never, not even able to play, people! I've totally broken the game. Oh my god. Die. And there we are. I managed to crash the game. Well, you wanted a bunch of gratuitous violence. There we are. That was really pointless, but yeah. There we are. Exploding gore everywhere. Anyway, that really is all I can really do with this one. Not really much that's really going on here, as said. More it's about the historical level of value, and this being one of, like, the most historical levels or whatnot. You have to compile it out. Like I said, he only included it as a .map file. But then again, a lot of the early Quake map files were basically ported out like that. Like I said, a lot of like Dalius's early levels were just .map files. So nothing too crazy there. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I guess I'll see you all next time.